Welcome back, everybody. It's been a hot minute since you've seen this shirt, right? But what does that mean? I got something special for you today, something special for me to put on my shelf. Been waiting for this guy for a little while, but surprisingly, he surpassed a couple of other bots I was waiting on that were supposed to come out before this guy, and then he just kind of overtook them and was released, and I'm still waiting on these other guys. But anyways, this one is a continuation of some reveals I've done for some other characters that are part of the same team. So you probably know by now what I'm talking about. It's a combiner team. It's Defensor is the main bot. And the component I have for you today is First Aid. Like I said, First Aid is part of the combiner team that formed Defensor. They are known as the Autobots. I have so far done videos on two of the other guys from this team, from the X-Transbots series. First one I did, I believe, was Streetwise, and then Groove. So Streetwise is a police car, Groove is a police motorcycle, and now we have First Aid, who is an ambulance. So to give a brief summary, the Autobots were a combiner team that were brought out after I think the original Autobot combiner team was Superion, the aerial bots. Defensor was one of the ones that were brought out afterwards in response to the growing number of Decepticon combiner teams. But they're more focused on, I mean, Defensor can fight. They can get the job done when it comes to fisticuffs, but as the Autobots and the Defensor name imply, they're all about protecting, healing, fixing, making sure everything is safe. So this is a team full of like service vehicles, as you may have guessed by now. So just so you can get a full kind of idea of what I'm talking about here, because I'm not going to post a video from the cartoon or any further information, because I've already done that in these past videos. So I will post links in the description of this video to the Streetwise unboxing, the Groove unboxing, and then I also did a G1 unboxing when I bought a knockoff version of Defensor from the original toys in the 80s. So I'll put all three of those links to those videos in the comments here in case you want to get some backstory and see what's already come before this one. Now, and speaking of the G1 Defensor, let's just get a look at what First Aid's G1 mold looked like, shall we? Pretty decent mold, pretty easy to transform. He was one of the original Autobots I had as a kid. I was missing two of them. I was missing Streetwise and Blades when I was a kid, but then I bought the knockoff version and acquired the whole thing all these years later, and it felt real good. So, First Aid is an ambulance. He forms the left arm of Defensor. First Aid, being an ambulance, being focused on healing, fixing, that sort of thing. He's a pacifist, so he doesn't like fighting, and he is very, he has much empathy and compassion towards all things. So whether it be a fellow Transformer that's in trouble, a human that's in trouble, sometimes even inanimate objects get the better of his empathetic nature. So he's kind of a guy who doesn't want to fight. But when the going gets tough and they form Defensor, because when they form one of the big bots, I don't know how exactly it works, but each individual component doesn't have like control over their selves. It kind of becomes, I don't know if it's a hive mind or something like that. So when First Aid is acting as Defensor's left arm, it's not like he's like just hanging limp. He's like, I can't throw a punch or shoot a blaster, that sort of thing. He can get the job done when he's part of Defensor, but when he's on his own, he prefers the path of peace as opposed to the path of war. But Autobots versus Decepticons, you're not seeing much peace during that ongoing conflict, are you? So anyways, this is the third of the X-Transbots Protectobots that I have. There's 2 to go. I'm missing Blades. He was supposed to be out months ago, maybe even last year. But he keeps getting delayed. So I hope to have number 4 soon. He forms the other arm. And then the last one is going to be Hotspot, the leader, the bigger guy that forms the torso of Defensor. So there's been no announcements about Hotspot that I know of, but Blades is supposed to be out anytime. So I hope to have him in the future, just as a bit of a spoiler for you. But anyways, let's get this guy out of the box, see what he looks like, and then we will go ahead and get him transformed. All right, first aid. Or as X-Transbots calls him, Paragon. Actually, Dr. Paragon. Man. I've had this guy for a little while. I've been really interested in ripping into him, but it's just been... lately it's been so fucking crazy busy with everything. It's been a bit of a challenge, but we're finally here. We've finally reached the day. So... as per the usual, you've got the instruction booklet. Hopefully he's not too hard to deal with. And we've also got styrofoam. It can be a bitch. We've also got the character card. Might have to use my teeth for this one. There we go. Nice little artwork from the box. I'm guessing he's going to be in ambulance form, and that's what I'm hoping for. Place your bets. Place your bets. I prefer them to be in their vehicle form because then I just have to transform them once, not once and then back again to put on the shelf in robot mode. Plus, it's usually easier to transform them from vehicle mode to robot mode and not the other way around. So, yes, baby. Oh, this is interesting. Okay, so he's got... So this is interesting. Very interesting. So this is the arm assembly for Defensor. So this is obviously going to attach to Hotspot. Hotspot is this color. He's a light blue color. He's a fire engine. We got some pistons here. This looks really neat. I'm not exactly sure how this works or is going to work. I probably won't have to find out for some time because we still have 2 guys to be released. But as you can see, it's just not just a matter of sticking first aid on as the arm. We got some sort of assembly here. So I prefer it to just stick them on for them to engineer it that way rather than there being these other things yet and you need to deal with. But it's not a big deal. But yeah, that's pretty neat. I was not expecting this. Yeah, but there we go. So there's a part of Defensor's left arm. Here's first aid, the man himself in ambulance mode. And then all he's got is one single solitary little blaster. Yes, pacifist indeed, right? Get him out of his plastic bag. There he is, pretty sick. Got the QC sticker. They always have it right on the friggin', nowhere like inside where you won't see it ever, but I'll peel that off and then get rid of all the goo after. But yeah, looks pretty good. There we go. First reveal of first aid. So there you have First Aid. Practitioner extraordinaire. Love him. I feel like the only downside to him is that I just feel like there could have been a little more detail or color instead of just a full-on red, and there could have been a little bit more detail in some of his torso and robot mode. Ambulance mode, he's got lots of writing and stuff like that, but I just feel like there's maybe something a little missing here, but very minor complaint, very minor. He looks fantastic. His head especially looks just like he did in the cartoon. Like, they did a really good job of making him look like how you picture First Aid would look in real life. Rubber tires with cool rims, always a fun feature to make it a little more realistic. Like I said, all the detailing, like brake lights, blinker lights, all the emergency indicator on the ambulance mode. The transformation was interesting, especially when I first had to flip the legs out, and then when I had to tuck all of the hood and roof assembly back behind his back. It was really like, really, this is supposed to do that? It doesn't seem like it's going in all that well. And then once it finally all comes together in the end, it forms a pretty tight unit. So it was a really weird transformation, but one that worked out very well in the end. It was strange. I don't think I've ever had one quite like this, but they did a pretty good job of making a really faithful First Aid and making it a relatively easy transformation once you did figure out a couple of the key little areas that needed a little more intricacy and a little more thinking than the rest. But love them. Can't wait to put them on the shelf beside Groove and Streetwise. And right now, this is the last Masterpiece scale Transformer I have in my possession. There are 2 more guys coming out. Like I said, Blades is supposed to come out soon, the 4th member of this team, as well as somebody else who was also supposed to be out months and months ago, even a year or 2 ago. But they just keep getting delayed, and they keep announcing new projects, and it's like, why don't you just finish these ones first and then move on to the next? So I honestly can't even give a guesstimate of a timeline of when I'm going to have these guys, but I check eBay pretty much every day. I check AliExpress every day for these guys. So needless to say, as soon as they're released, I'm going to try and get my hands on them, and then I will have more videos of my Masterpiece scale Transformers. Now, that's not to say I don't have more stuff coming, but I'm going to leave it at that, so it's a bit of a mystery. I have some really cool stuff coming, and I can't wait to get at it. And now that, you know, I've put these health problems I had mostly behind me, that I had over the first 4 months of the year, of the new year, really affected me, and I didn't even want to do this kind of stuff. I was just out of it and whatever. But now that things are trending upwards and I'm feeling better, I'm ready to hit this shit pretty hard. So hurry up, X-Transbots, and release the rest of those characters, please. Toodles. Meow.